All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Dr.
Stone,
Stone,
Season 2, Episode 8.
Tsukasa
Alright.
found the phone.
And they're coming in with the tank right now.
20-second
Steel
battle.
Gorilla!
Yes! To capture the nitric acid, the miracle revival fluid. Hell yeah. And also, Yuzuriha was frickin' piecing people back together.
And Ukyo noticed. And this in combination with a couple of the other things that Senku has done.
Won him over. Yeah.
So Ukyo is on our side.
That's right.
But he does not want anyone to be killed.
Right. Which even he acknowledges is a pretty tall order.
Yeah, it's very tough in order to figure out a way to make that happen without immediately running from any kind of fight that you have.
Yeah.
But we also got a little bit of a tease the real problem might not be as much Tsukasa as Hyoga.
Yeah.
Because Hyoga was the one that actually let their companions die in the valley with all the poison and stuff.
Yep.
So Tsukasa would never do that.
I guess not.
Never. In some ways, he's probably so strong that he probably would try and find a way to just save them.
Yep.
But the difference is, well...
Hyoga would.
Hyoga would.
And Tsukasa doesn't know.
He has no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a tenuous foundation on Tsukasa's place being at the top then, but it is one that is placed there, I would say, by his indomitable will and a slight combination of his subordinates. So we could end up seeing a multi-faction split pretty soon, especially if Tsukasa loses the revival fluid.
Right. That would be a problem.
Yeah. He would have to either try and make his own.
Or get it back.
Find a way to get it back. Or, just go out in the hunt for another source.
Yeah.
Which isn't extremely unlikely.
It's probably out there somewhere, but, finding it would be a bitch.
Finding it would take years.
And Tsukasa is probably strong enough that he could just try and, Sauron walk back and just take it. So, even assuming that the Kingdom of Science takes the cave, keeping it will be the real issue.
Yeah. It'll be the hunker down and defend ourselves kind of setup.
Take as much of the stuff as you can, put it in the tank, and get the fuck out of there.
I mean, in a lot of ways, that's the big advantage that they have now is they have communications and mobility. And while Tsukasa's men are just strong and quick, so they'll have mobility, longevity with that mobility might be tied to tech more than muscles.
Indeed.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, well, we almost lost, or we have lost, or could we lose?
Yeah, Tsukasa and Hyoga show up with the rest of their forces.
They show up quickly. They determined the nature of the phone. They determined what it must mean for their group.
Right.
They went specifically to the most important objective-based thing that, Senku could ever get.
Right.
And they went there quickly. This just shows that Tsukasa is not only a capable foe, but once he steps onto the scene like this, his passive AoE charisma buff of I am the strongest and my vision will not be deterred by some science user goes back across all of his troops. And the ones that were either scared or maybe, still a little bit on the fence of whether they would join Senku might even switch back now.
Oh, totally.
Now, I could see a lot of them being like, no, we're actually pretty much all in on this Kingdom of Science kind of thing.
And maybe we're also worried of what would happen to us if, if we were to go back having betrayed you once,
Sure. Yeah. Sure. I could definitely see, Hyoga being the one who's like, well, we should set an example. And then Tsukasa being like, no, we don't need to. We don't need to. That's not the point.
But we still have... So the idea that everyone is like, hey, we're going to hold off Tsukasa, Senku, do what you can do as fast as possible. I love it. It's gripping. It feels very like going to the Black Gate to give Frodo time, but more present and immediate. And
exactly.
There's you thought 20 seconds was, a countdown.
Right. There's no way they can actually win in the long term against Tsukasa and Hyoga. Because in some ways, the reason why they can't win anymore is because Ukyo is down.
Yeah.
And the thing that I wanted to bring up that's
Can't
rather
have a
interesting,
sniper.
yeah, is that Hyoga decided to use his surprise hit on the one person that was on the perimeter, which is, well, smart because they
the early warning system and all that. Yeah.
Right, the early warning system, all that. But Ukyo heard them long before they got there. But it was like the shit, they're way too early kind of setup. So he spent his time, instead of Ukyo trying to protect himself, was to let all of them know that they're here. And the amount of sheer panic that was on his face and just realizing, shit, oh
this is
no,
bad.
this we've lost. This
We're
is
fucked.
horrible. Yeah. Get out, just run. I love that. There is a physical, just carnal, visceral terror that grips you when you realize what kind of a monster Tsukasa is in terms of physical strength. And that's why, probably, in some ways, this series decided to make him a literal, like, pillar man and be a god amongst humans, is that when he shows up, there's not a question of, well, there's 25 of us, and we might be able to do it. No, it's just like, no, you can buy time.
Right.
That's it.
In the same way
how
that
many
no one
bones
is
do you
going
want him to break of Kohaku's, basically.
Right. In the same way that no one is going to out-science Senku, no one is going to outfight Tsukasa. It's just not going to happen.
No. And this is doubly bad because, as we just built up, Hyoga is not only a killer, like a ruthless killer as well, but he is one that has almost zero moral or honor aspects within him. He kills his own to save himself.
Yeah, Tsukasa wouldn't have any problem just killing Senku because it's the thing of the Tsukasa is okay with killing, but he only does it when he feels it's necessary, I guess. Right.
Yeah, because he would love, I would say, in some ways, for the rest of humanity to be united under his vision and build this stone ideal world.
Yep.
Now, will that be possible with Senku still in the picture?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Right.
But
once he kills him, maybe everyone will switch sides, but there's a possibility that they won't.
Yeah, so he's going to start with the head of the snake in his mind.
Yep.
Put his foot on it really hard, and then beat it with a rock,
Yeah.
Now, the fact that we've switched things from tank raid with literal second by second countdown, which is fun. I would have loved personally to have it just running in the top there, but I get you can't actually do that.
Yeah.
But they could slow it down. They could slow it down.
Sure.
Yeah. But all that being said, I really loved that when it came down to those 20 seconds. There were 3 levels of problems that they had to deal with. One was they were like, hey, they obviously put traps here if they're going to put traps at my prison cell.
Yep.
Of course they would.
Yeah.
And the traps worked.
Eventually.
Yeah. That's the point, though, is that they eventually kept the tank from actually, hitting the entrance and providing, some kind of a barricade.
Or an escape route.
Or an escape route,
Because again, if suddenly it's like, oh, Tsukasa's on the way, theoretically, maybe they could just be like, all right, pile into the thing. If Tsukasa's after us, Senku
we'll
at
get
least
away
get in there
slowly, maybe.
Yeah,
and we'll harry his forces that try to attack.
And Senku can be mixing stuff in the tank while they're running or something.
Yeah, that might be a bit tenuous. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But when they ended up realizing that it wasn't just the men outside, it was some inside as well, they're like, oh shoot, this is just too many. So they bring out the sonic weapon.
That was awesome.
Was such a cool way for them to use the copper that they've made over the course of this time and use it in a non-lethal way. Right. Because I was thinking about, in terms of their weapons that they had, spears and katanas, and a carbon shield. Those are pretty maimey, piercy, bleed you out kind of weapons.
Like the spear,
for the shield.
The spear could always, sort of club someone, right? And the katana can cut the weapons and stuff. But that's
right.
That's about the extent of what you can do with them non-lethally.
So that's what they did. They cut the weapons and they bludgeoned some people. But that was still a thing of where we're like, no, someone's going to get hurt.
Right. 20 seconds is not a lot of time.
It's not a lot of time.
Especially when you're wanting to make sure you don't kill anybody.
Right. So having this reveal of, we have this AoE blast weapon that we could also fire theoretically into the cave if they were still in there. Yep. And it would have been even worse for them in the cave because it would have bounced so many times and come at them from all angles. and
I love it.
you know, just added to the strength. That was such a cool surprise, as like, oh, we didn't need to know that they had that to make it feel like it was earned. It's
right,
like,
because
no,
it's not some big like plot breaking thing or anything like that. Like they didn't like it was helpful to have, but it wasn't fundamentally necessary for the encounter.
Right.
And then the fact that gives Taiju a way to also fight,
Yes,
you know, not just
yes.
involving like a shield, but he roars into it and also takes the same blast that he's giving to everyone else. Like,
you remember in Vinland Saga when Thorkel like gets in the guy's face and just and the guy just
just pisses himself.
Pisses himself. His eyes roll back. He drools and everything. It's just like,
yep.
That was such a cool like way to have that go.
Oh yeah.
Also, third bit is just that, well, there's going to be people that will see what's going on and they won't panic. They won't have the fear effect of the tank kind of go about there, because Tsukasa apparently gave them orders
that they should retreat if they ever get
if
attacked.
they saw an attack, which is genius by Tsukasa, because he's like, I can never predict what a hopped up on science Senku with allies could do. And so I have enough soldiers that there's no way that they've revived enough people to be a serious threat numbers wise. So as long as I don't lose
too many
30
soldiers.
men all at once,
right,
I'm pretty much good.
Yep.
I'm pretty much solid.
I might not even need to fight myself. You know.
So some of them were probably just so stunned that they just didn't remember their orders.
Yep.
And thus they stayed.
Right.
Which means that those guys were all incredible. And then the journalist girl who's like, Tsukasa might. You're like, yo, good woman, stay by my side.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
It reminded me so much of Darkness from Konosuba.
Yeah.
Being like,
hey,
oi, Darkness,
get your fat ass out there and get me my money. Yeah. It really did feel like that.
Oh my god.
But also, if not for the fact that they had lucked out and found the phone, Tsukasa would have been screwed because his people didn't follow the orders to run.
Sure.
Because, they managed to get a couple that ran away, but if all of them had just suddenly turned tail and bolted, they wouldn't have been able to capture all of them. Someone would have gotten out back to Tsukasa, and then he would have found out a lot sooner, and then it would have been a big problem.
Right. But the reveal that what Nikki and Ukyo and the rest of Tsukasa's empire's people that changed sides were doing was to catch the stragglers.
Right.
And so they set up in the spots where they knew they would run out of the Miracle Cave spot from to the Tsukasa's base and stuff like that, which is such a cool use of the plot resources at your disposal, is to have the characters that recently switched sides do something that makes the most sense for them to think to do.
Right, because the surprise of the fact that they're enemies is very, very much something you can use, but also just the knowledge that they have of how the organization works.
Yeah.
Like that cannot be faked.
Yeah, they probably just gave Nikki and Ukyo complete jurisdiction of these people.
Set up however you need.
They're your people.
Right.
Use them however you think makes the most sense here. We will cover the raid. If you want to support us in any way, go ahead. If you want to fan out and watch the perimeter, anyway, go ahead. And this is what they did. And it was hilarious because we got to see Nikki utilize her
muscles,
her guard techniques, which are grab and tickle, and of all the non-lethal ways to incapacitate someone, I tickle me, Nikki. That's like
I wouldn't have had a problem with Nikki just being like grab. Bunk,
I literally would have expected something along the lines of just grab, and then just
then tie up,
yeah, exactly.
But okay, in this situation that we're in, this is bad.
It's really bad.
It's real bad.
It's really bad.
But I love it.
Right.
But we still have the thing.
The charcoal and alcohol mixture is on the ground.
Yes. So
or is it ashes and it's charcoal and something else.
Yeah, anyway. But the stuff that they need to mix in with the sulfuric acid to make gunpowder, it's still there. They might not be able to make as much, and
where it won't really, be that helpful to
right. It's the some of it got blown away by the wind and things like that. But
sulfur and charcoal. Okay, yeah.
But
I've got a jar of sulfur. Jar of sulfur.
But it's still there. They could use it. But Hyoga killing the men and Tsukasa not knowing. I really feel like that's the thing
that will come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think though that the Ukyo potentially bleeding out and maybe even dying here is a real a real hint though at where the battle can just fully shift into Tsukasa's side.
Yeah.
And that's that all they need to do is just grab 3 people and just hold the blade up and be like, Senku, it's cute and all, but let's end this here.
Right.
You want to bring yourself out and save them? That's fine. Come right out here and kneel. We'll kill you right here, and you just have to trust us that we won't kill anyone else.
It's
it's easy.
Yeah.
It really is that easy.
Yep.
And it's going to come down to the competence of all the fighters in Senku's group to not let that easily happen.
Right. Also, I just want to point out that while Tsukasa is very much the kind of person who would be up for just killing Senku, right? He did not have a problem at all with the fact that Hyoga speared Ukyo.
I think that's because
it's
betrayal.
It's betrayal, but it's also, this is an emergency situation. They got the cave. We need to deal with this, right?
I think Hyoga doesn't get criticized necessarily at that level from Tsukasa when they're in war.
Right.
Set up here.
Well,
but I think that if Hyoga started just indiscriminately killing right now, he would be like, whoa.
Hold on, we don't need to do that.
Remember who's in charge here, you know?
Right, exactly.
I can very much see this being a thing where he has to tell Hyoga, okay, I want you to maim everyone.
Right, don't kill them.
Don't kill
them. We can still use them.
We can use them as a workforce.
Right. Yep. Because
as soldiers, yeah.
It's something where the situation that they're in is precarious, right? And I don't know. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how Tsukasa acts in this situation.
Okay.
Because there's the show he puts on, but then there's actually
you know what?
The actions he takes. You know?
Has Taiju ever fought Tsukasa with a weapon? No, I don't think he has.
I don't think so.
So what if Taiju is the shield
and then Kohaku's the sword?
For Kohaku's blade.
I love that idea. I'm just worried that if Tsukasa just grabs the shield, rips it from his arms, he's like, cool, I got a carbon shield.
I know, but if he spends too much time focusing
wrestling
on
with Taiju,
then she can slice out
his legs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And she's dual wielding, man. That's some folded
Kohaku's
steel.
Dangerous.
Yeah, Kohaku is, I would say, more dangerous than anyone else but maybe Hyoga. In some ways, I see her as more dangerous to the Tsukasa Empire than
Tsukasa is to the
Kingdom of Science. Because I think what Tsukasa will do...
He wants to recruit as many of them as possible.
Well, right, but I think he'll go straight to Senku.
Yeah.
Leap over everyone else.
Sure.
Grab him by the neck and boom! Hit him on the head and then hold him up.
Treat him like a fish that you just caught.
Yeah, and just be
beat
like...
him against the side of something.
Do you all want to see him live? Put down your weapons.
Yeah. This is what I was thinking of earlier. Yeah. Is that in a situation where you have 2 strong opponents that come up and they're going to thrash you, right? And just one of them would be enough.
Right.
Well, you can't beat them unless you try and turn them against each other. And what I'm hoping is that Asagiri Gen is a smart boy, right?
He's a smart boy.
And he's not exactly going to be helping with the science aspect of things because that's Grum and Senku. But he's also not a fighter. So what is he going to do, right? I want to see Gen basically make up for the fact that he tried the last-ditch effort of, I'm, Lillian Weinberg, in the tank, right? And it's like, okay, come on.
So yeah, I think this is what Gen will do.
Yeah?
He'll be the first person to quickly say something before it all goes to shit. And be like, well, no, Kohaku charged. Never mind. It's already fighting now.
Well,
but I think you'd be like, hey, guys, Senku gave me cola. He gave me this. He gave me this. I mean, it's pretty great. So,
I'm just curious who was there that saw Hyoga kill the other people of the Empire.
It was the scout girl.
That's right. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What's her name?
It was like Homura.
Homura, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
I think that's who it is. Yeah.
Okay.
If anything, the fact that we haven't seen her
Right, because she's been doing her job. She doesn't know that any of this is going wrong, right?
No. I thought they captured her and tied her up. Back at the town.
Maybe I thought they just persuaded her with cotton candy.
No,
they didn't
first capture her.
No,
and then maybe.
Yeah, and she was really slippery. It was tough to do. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So, what if that's the big twist?
Is she manages to
was
slip
in the
out of the
tank
ropes
the whole time, and then they pull her out, and they're like, "All right."
She told us some very interesting things about Tsukasa, in that he doesn't like his men being killed, but also Hyoga.
Or that could be the thing. Gen goes, "Wait a minute. Homura is back at the camp." And then he knows that Yuzuriha is there, and Ruri is there, and Suika, and he's like, we need to get the girls over here pronto to communicate what
maybe
what the dissension could be, what the dissension focus point in the ranks of Tsukasa could be.
Maybe.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But they're in a pickle.
Yeah, they're in a pickle.
I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, y'all, thank you so much, though, for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.